liquidity versus Bitcoin. It says the banana zone is here. That's the only thing I can think of, is that everything I look at says the banana zone is here. Bitcoin seasonality, election years, October up only. Right? And these are big moves. Same in the Russell 2000. Here's Bitcoin last year versus this year. I mean, really? And this is La La Land, ETH last year versus this year. So, oh, and by the way, that's the straightforward Bitcoin pattern. I mean, everything I look at, every single thing shouts the banana zone. Now, I'm wearing my banana zone t-shirt because I think it's coming. I think it's coming in days or maybe a week. I know it sounds hubristic, but I honestly give this banana zone an 80-something% chance of happening almost immediately. Give it 2 weeks, within 2 weeks.
Pal begins by addressing a major misconception about inflation in the financial world. According to him, while many fear that inflation is still high, it's actually on a downward trajectory. Currently, headline inflation is around 2.5%, yet some people continue to sound alarms as though it's still a pressing issue. Pal insists that inflation will keep falling, and eventually it will drop below 2%. In tandem, interest rates, which are currently above 5%, will also start declining as inflation subsides. Pal's discussion is his concept of the banana zone, a term he coined to describe the optimal period for Bitcoin's price movement based on liquidity and market conditions. He believes that Bitcoin is entering this zone, where its price is poised for significant upward movement. Pal is so confident in this prediction that he gives it an 80% chance of materializing within the next 2 weeks, stating that the current environment is ideal for Bitcoin to rally. Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks and enjoy the video.
I've been saying this for a long time. Inflation is falling. Rates were at 5.5%, they're now at 5%. Inflation, headline inflation's at 2.5%. Half the people on the internet is like, oh my God, inflation's so high, it's 2.5% and it's falling. In fact, I'm going to show you a chart. This is the chart of CPI versus the large outbursts of inflation, the 5 largest from the 1940s and 1980s. This Mount Fuji pattern is so consistent, yet everybody bleats, oh, well, if they cut rates, they're going to bring inflation back. No, they're not. They never have. Inflation will come at the end of the cycle. This is so normal. Inflation is going to keep falling. It'll be below 2%. And guess what? I think rates are coming below 2%, and people don't understand this yet. And so I think rates will continue to be cut. The market doesn't understand this. Rates are part of financial conditions that should continue to improve. In fact, do I have a financial conditions chart on? I've stolen Julian's charts from our exponential age asset management investment committee meeting this morning. That one's basically the rate of change of interest rates versus the ISM survey. Don't tell Julian I'm doing this. He'll get pissed off because I'm using his charts. But our GMI model, it shows that ISM, the business cycle, is all about to pick up. All the talk about recession and everything is just utter nonsense. We've actually got economic growth signposted everywhere whilst inflation is falling. So that's the big story. So the Fed, blah, 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 blah. But generally speaking, risk assets should be doing really well. And risk assets are doing really well because guess what? As I've talked about, bleated about, explained to you in the Everything Code is global liquidity. This is the time to have to roll the debts. Global liquidity is going to go up. And hey presto, it's going up just like it did every other time. So that's global M2. We can use GMI weekly global liquidity, which is just central bank orientated. Less exciting yet. When we get to the Chinese, their assets, their balance sheet in white, that's cyclical. It will continue to grow. They will probably do a lot of quantitative easing But generally speaking, overall, the GMI total liquidity index breaking out. Just to show why it matters, this is the banana zone. I posted this on Twitter. Global M2, 10-week lead over Bitcoin. Do you need anything better than that? Oh, wait, I can give you something better than that. I can give you the GMI total liquidity, which is both private sector and state sector liquidity versus Bitcoin. It says the banana zone is here. That's the only thing I can think of, is that everything I look at says the banana zone is here. Bitcoin seasonality, election years, October, up only. Right? And these are big moves. Same in the Russell 2000. Here's Bitcoin last year versus this year. I mean, really? And this is La La Land, ETH last year versus this year. So, oh, and by the way, that's the straightforward Bitcoin pattern. I mean, everything I look at, every single thing shouts the banana zone. Now, I'm wearing my banana zone t-shirt because I think it's coming. I think it's coming in days or maybe a week. And before I said, well, maybe it's next month, maybe it's the month after, maybe it's this week, I don't know. I'm like, no. I know it sounds hubristic, but I honestly give this banana zone an 80-something% chance of happening almost immediately. Give it 2 weeks, within 2 weeks. And I know that's sticking my neck out. I'm wearing my banana zone t-shirt. I'm trying not to jinx the thing. But, you know, as I've talked about, all of our hopes and dreams are in this. Mine too. Real Vision as a business. Almost everybody I speak to, you know, I've been on the phone with a few, you know, billionaire GMI subscribers, friends of mine. Everybody wants this to happen. Everyone needs this to happen because people are invested. Now, technology, there's a bunch of other ways of skinning this cat, but really people have been like this with high interest rates, a slow business cycle where ISM has been bumping along. And I know people like a lot of, you know, people on Twitter are like, oh, well, my God, the markets are all-time high. What is everybody complaining about? Speak to real fucking people when their mortgages are like that, their interest payments are like that, their credit card bills are like that. Speak to corporations who are trying to borrow money that aren't kind of, you know, AAA rated tech companies that have no debt. You know, all of this stuff. It has been very, very difficult for a while. Rates have been the highest they have for a very long time. The rate of change of interest rates was enormous. Inflation is now wildly below interest rates. So real rates are ridiculously restrictive. And people feel it. People are not happy. People don't have personal expenditure abilities to do what they want. But it's coming. It's coming. The business cycle's changing. So all of you who run businesses, all of you who see the sluggishness of the cycle and wonder why the equity market's going to all-time highs and your business isn't yet, it's all going to come. Things are going to improve dramatically. The equity market's driven by liquidity. Your earnings, yours and mine, are driven by the business cycle. And that is just about to pick up. So cheers. Here's to a much, much better 18 months ahead.
Pal touches on the opportunities in the crypto market, specifically highlighting a project called Sui. As a member of the Sui Foundation board, Pal has a vested interest in the project, but he emphasizes that he only promotes projects he genuinely believes in. According to Pal, Sui has the potential to be one of the chosen ones in the next crypto cycle, citing its strong fundamentals, fast transaction speeds, and innovative technology.
That's really the banana zone. The banana zone is here and now. The other thing I put out on X was about Sui. Sui is a crypto token that I'm on the foundation board of. So yes, I'm shilling it, but I'm actually not. I don't talk about stuff that I don't think is going to go up. I've been talking about this for a while. I've been warning people that I think Sui is going to be one of the chosen ones of the cycle. And it's starting to happen. I mean, it's broken out versus, I mean, again, we're actually going to put this out as some more analysis. I've written about it in Global Macro Investor. It'll probably be a trade idea of some form with a percentage weighting and a whole bunch of other stuff in Real Vision Pro Macro very, very soon. But basically, and Pro Macro is the kind of elite research service part of Real Vision. It's a fantastic service. It's going to give you all the information you need, and you'll get stuff like the macro investing tool and stuff like that. So do check that out if you haven't. I'm sure that the portfolio there is one of the best performing portfolios you'll have seen over time. The model portfolio for that, we've done pretty well with the trade recommendations on the global macro investor side. So I'm pretty pleased with that. But Sui, it's outperforming pretty much everything now. And most importantly, it's outperforming Solana, which is my big bet. And Solana is, my chosen one. I have 90% of my net worth in Solana. But Sui, I've obviously been granted some tokens as being part of the foundation. They're locked up, etc. But I'm not going to sell. In fact, no, some of them are unlocked. I'm not going to sell. In fact, I've been buying personally because I think it's a chosen one. I think it's going to do really fucking well. Yes, there's a low free float, which everyone goes, oh my God, they're going to be dumping on you. But a lot of the unlock happened a few months ago. Really, it's now pretty phased and pretty low key. But in a bull market, in a really, really interesting protocol that has attention, a low free float means a smaller amount of money drives a larger price rise. The reverse can happen in the bear market too. So just beware, but we're in bull market times. One of what I like about Sui is what they're really trying to do is the team came out of Facebook or Meta, where they built the Libra project that was shut down by every government in the world. Not joking, they were literally told that they were not going to do this by everybody from the World Bank to the BIS to all the major central banks. And the team left. And they started, one group started Aptos, the other started Sui. They rebuilt the Move language they invented for this. And they built an incredibly sophisticated chain. But the point being is, it's really bloody fast. The latency of the chain is less than 1 second for finality, which is, if you think half the stuff, it's like minutes. The latency is fast enough for gaming, financial markets, that kind of stuff. They've just launching Walrus, which is a decentralized data storage layer using blobs that's built on top of the Sui network. So think of Filecoin, think of AWS, decentralized, but for a Web3 world. That's coming on top. There's a bunch of other applications. Pilotfish is coming, which is their version of FireDancer, which will give it kind of unlimited TPS. It's just a bloody interesting project. You may hate it. You may have something else you prefer. All I ask you to do is show to yourself, not to me, that your chart is going to outperform Solana. And then is it going to outperform Sui? Is it going to outperform? That's the way to do things. And that's what got me into the Bitcoin ETH cross. That's what got me into the Solana, ETH Solana trade. And Sui, I've been flagging this for a while. I thought it was looking like the chart was going to do this. So it feels like it's one of the big ones. There'll be other stuff that will outperform Sui without question. Maybe it's your token. Maybe it's your, and I'm not going to mention, every time I mention a bunch of tokens, I get shouts about it. So I just can't be bothered with you guys.
Raoul Pal's insights provide a comprehensive view of the current state of the global economy, financial markets, and crypto assets. His key message is clear: inflation is falling, interest rates will follow, and liquidity is increasing, creating an ideal environment for risk assets like Bitcoin. Pal's concept of the banana zone adds a unique perspective, suggesting that Bitcoin is on the verge of a major breakout. For investors, both in traditional markets and the crypto space, Pal's analysis offers a roadmap for navigating the next phase of the economic cycle. As he predicts, the coming months could bring significant opportunities, and those who understand the dynamics of liquidity and inflation will be well positioned to capitalize on them. Please like and subscribe my channel.